Day one continues. Our next presenter is going to talk about the trends in AI and the key innovations of Sber in 2023. The biggest trend of this year is generative artificial intelligence. It opens up unlimited opportunities for each one of us. And with this, I would like to yield this floor to the Chief Data Scientist of Sber, Vice President of AI and ML Development Department of Sber, Maxim Eremenko. The topic is generative AI at Sber. All this day I've been announcing topics, listening to presentations, trying to figure it out, and I saw that there are a lot of questions from the audience getting submitted, and I am here standing on the stage and I'm missing out. So if you don't mind, I'd like to seize this opportunity and stay and start with the following. Why is there so much hype around generative AI? We didn't get it yesterday, and still it is the buzzword of these days, and so many developments happening all the time. How did it all happen? Hello, everyone. Hello, Valentin. A very warm welcome to the AIJ conference, the journey into the world of artificial intelligence. I think it's best if we have this dialogue here. It's just that I have a couple of slides that I prepared for you, and I expected to be talking based on the slides. So there is this word density, the density of events, of developments. Less than a year ago, we met on this same platform. And as was said earlier today in the morning, fortunately, we are able to have events offline, not just online. I hope this trend continues and we will not be hit by another pandemic that will keep us from offline cooperation. So the density of developments, those keeping track of events, you, I'm sure, know about this US startup, which is no longer a startup. It used to be Open AI, now it's Closed AI. The Open AI story, right? Yes, a very big story of these days. Sam Altman is back to OpenAI. He spent just a day at Microsoft, and he's back. And he says, I've been doing my best to push this area forward. And if that was all planned, that is very weird. First he left, then 500 of the 750 team members at OpenAI, they sent a resignation statement, and now we are expecting resignations from the board. It's all very, very strange. So speaking of the density of events, let me segue to my slides. The clicker does not seem to be working. The driver of the future. Right. So what you see behind me is the description of the latest developments over the past 357 or 58 days. On November 30th, on October 30th, they announced ChatGPT. Then it all was developing a bit slowly, and then at the beginning of the year, they announced GPT-4. Bing said that they were already using it in their search engine. Then they sided with the new technology of search. They did not have much advancement there. That did not give Bing a lot of advantage as opposed to Google. And then everyone started training their own LLMs. This is not the whole generative landscape, of course. In order to fit it all on the slide, we would need a huge screen. And even here, previously we were talking about chatbots. Chatbots just answering questions, and the previous speakers mentioned it as well. But today we view it no longer as a simple chatbot, but as an important tool that can help us in our research, in scientific breakthroughs. Even Olga Kardamon talked about it as applied to protein design, and also computer sciences discoveries. Everybody is exploring the opportunities in monetization, reformatting, and new scientific frontiers, thanks to such large language models. But LLM is no longer simply LLM. It also includes visual models, so we are talking about large models, generative models. So we are speaking of Russia, China, and the US, the three big countries in that landscape, technologically advanced to allocate the resources and the talent to develop this area. And I'm happy to say that we are one of such countries. The directors prohibited me from clicking backwards, so I will only be clicking my slides forward. But yes, you are right. Thanks to the available data sets in the available languages, English, obviously, Chinese and Russian. At the same time, we had this project at the beginning of the year, British GPT, which will be a national foundation model. There's probably something else for other languages, but it is a bit less popular. Llama is all the rage now. Another thing I wanted to quickly mention, the first wave of hype in Google metrics, Google Analytics did that. The first wave was in February, April, because that was when they announced ChatGPT, GPT-4. And the second wave was at the end of summer, because Llama, Llama 2, and all the rest, they were trying to catch up. Even more interest in the industry towards them, and everybody started downloading it for free, trying to fine-tune it for their specific tasks. So Llama was an even more massively popular product than GPT. And it feels like the trend is only gaining momentum because we hear the new announcements all the time about this new model, the human startup, launching their own PIN to communicate with it only by voice. So clearly this is not a trend that is dying down in any shape or form, and it often happens in contemporary history. It's not like what happens in modern history, where there is this hot topic for a year and then everybody forgets about it. This is the trend that will persist for many years to come, only growing in interest. I think very often in parallel tracks as well, we will be discussing the thing that I'm showing on the slide, LLMU. So today it's LLMU, and tomorrow it's going to be another benchmark. But in any case, it does reflect the trend over the 25 years that passed since 1997, and the LSTM paper was published, all the way to 2022. The increase in the power of the models was generative, and it was less than what happened over the past 2 years. The gopher chinchilla, and all the way from that point going upwards, based on different sets of metrics with LLMUs. Still, GPT-3 is this summit that hasn't been reached by anyone else in the industry yet. I hope these latest developments of the past weeks, the resignations and the firings and the comeback of Mr. Altman, I hope that was not according to some script. And then there are points below them trying to do the Flosbury flop and catch up with GPT-4. So far, GPT-4 is the benchmark. And another thing that demonstrates this density of events is that it was able to fit in a record short span of time. The amount of investment, 18 billion of private dollars spent. Obviously, this comes from open sources, but clearly there's a lot of things that we do not know, because there is public spending in different countries, military spending on AI.
And obviously that this figure is underestimated manifold. 18 billion still in 2023, a public number, and that's the generative AI investments. Now, there are some forecasts, you can believe in them, might not believe in them. $7 trillion that will be added to the global GDP thanks to these generative models. 2030, 2033, well, maybe everyone will forget about generative AI and generative models. Like large language models and generative AI. We can see a lot of hype around that. But 7 trillion, that's a lot. That is a lot. And we will have part of a piece of that cake. Yeah, it will be great to invest in that and to then find yourself as one of the early investors. I think it is possible to do that. You can invest also with human capital because every brain and every dollar, every ruble invested in that, then maybe the return on these investments will be quite high. The question is, what will happen next? That is a difficult question. 3 years ago, we could not predict what will happen in the current period. For some reason, Elon Musk decided to left OpenAI. Maybe he lost interest in this topic, maybe he was disappointed. And he tries to lure other researchers in his new team, his new company. We will, I think, have these modalities. We'll increase the number of modalities that will be able to process new architectures. Everything that is in white font has already been implemented, and they actually have some ready-made products. They're working in the field, quality-wise, controversial results. But anyway, the things on the right is like videos. Well, the videos is cringe-generated videos, really. That's what you feel when you look at them, like you saw in the pictures that you saw 2 years ago. But that will happen in 2024 and beyond. Kandinsky 3.0, that was a release today, and using an AI artist and street artist, we were able to paint this mural. Everything is changing with breakneck speed, and basically you are doing a lot in Sber to develop AI. So what can we expect in the future? Well, actually, I'm actually looking at that conference call, and I can't really recognize that, especially this antique sculpture of a man. Yeah, this is like some ancient Greek philosopher that is looking to the future together with, thanks to the technologies. And like, what is that, like something Chinese? Usually, I mean, this guy is quite selfish. This sculpture is quite selfish. Well, this is Kandinsky. This is the bridge, we're talking about. Anyway, it's pretty good. Yeah, and I think we have discussed all that. Obviously, compute is important. 7 times in the last 10 years. That was the increase. And obviously that supported that leap forward. Like the hardware is going as quickly as the capabilities. Yeah, well, everyone is going to that direction, is striving in that direction. We are doing that as well. As for baby AGI, well, if we achieve baby AGI, won't be interesting. Now we have baby AGI, so that's why we have some frameworks that are called baby AGI even. Now, as for Sber, what is happening in Sber? I think that the scientists that will have presentations after me will talk about technical details, but I will talk about the general things. What are we doing in Sber? Ivan and others were talking about the what was under the hood there. Make sure you don't share any trade secrets, but you have to share with like something. The OpenAI strategy to close everything. I don't know whether it was a good strategy. time will show what was the strategy is the correct one, but I think that we need to share. Now, a year ago, we had Kandinsky 2.0, and the interest was quite tepid, to put it mildly, from tech enthusiasts and engineers. But on the 4th of April, I mean, yeah, we can understand the mechanics of getting new users was quite simple. Telegram, you can actually put the prompts in Telegram and and you can generate pictures there. Yeah, because if you go to Midjourney through Discord and you have to connect to ChatGPT, all of that user experience is pretty complicated, and that is quite surprising. Those who develop this generative and these generative tools, I mean, they should understand that it's not a great experience really. I can write in GigaChat or Kandinsky and create a prompt and in natural Russian language, and that's it. Well, maybe they just save on the inference, and this is how they filter out those who want to use these models. In the first 4 days, there were 1 million unique new users. 2 clicks and you are one of the users. Well, thanks to Telegram for that. It's very simple mechanics. In terms of the model itself, the guys will dive deep into the model. The architecture became more complicated. They were using more high-quality data sets. The number of parameters was growing. And the number of users currently is more than 3 million unique users. Now, the timestamp that was in 2.1 was 5 million, so people are using it very actively. Yes, absolutely, and there are different surfaces here, and that means a wider reach. I'm not going to talk about that, but like Hugging Face, Hugging Face wrote it in the across. In daily papers, Kandinsky research paper was published and was on the first page. And was on the first page for several days. So that means that this is a global event even. Yes. And it was dubbed the highest growing stability model after Stable Diffusion. So yes, this is our approach, really. This is our culture, to give everything to the people. And now Kandinsky is great in terms of the access. As for the further distribution, and as for the now the Kandinsky 3.0 has announced more domains, as almost 12 billion parameters, 3 times more than 2.2. If and when we're asked to, to make some presentation in the midnight, they ask us to create some artful presentations, and sometimes these are from the organizers of the strategic sessions for the government, and so actually, and it's funny how it's now easy to use, and it's normal to use that because people are creating content with AI now, and several years ago it used to be even impossible to even ask that thing, like generate something with AI, not proper. But anyway, it's also like this. The model gives the result that you can actually put here. I will show you. Yeah, we will see. It's like 20-second video. Maybe I'll go away somewhere. It's like, yeah, this is the video. This is quite meditative, this video. Like, you can just look at this artwork that is changing constantly, and it also gives us an additional boost for the creativity. It's a good start if you don't know what to start to start your creative process with. I think that generative models are now used to decrease the time for the experiment. You can try out some things, you can look at some options, because otherwise you would have to create and build this option and spend time on that. You will need days and weeks to just experiments, and here you will need minutes or even seconds. And so that people can use desktop versions, this is the API that we have created. You can connect your resources with Fusion Brain AI. Now that's the car that is driving. And it's a Ford Mustang, the similar that I have, a beautiful car. Did I generate that? Well, we just know everything about you. Sber is always by your side, as you know. Yeah, anyway, you can use that in different creative tasks. I think that even right now, like GigaChat and Kandinsky, I imported I put my routine mundane tasks to Kandinsky and to GigaChat. It really helps to start out, when you have a blank page and you have to create something, and then the neural network will generate something for you, and building on that, you will actually create the great things. Yeah, and sometimes you meditate with the things that you don't know what to start with. And this gives you some framework. Yeah, that's another surface that we have. These are the postcards in Sberbank Online, which is our online banking app, the most popular financial app in Russia. Now, that is a link. You can create things there. I think the design has changed. Really would be great to, start creating stuff with it. But, this is not a new financial service. This is just an option that kind of helps to create this kind of a customer glue for the first users, and then you'll be able to create your personal profile picture, and I've generated pictures in different apps, and like, for instance, not many people would want to spend 10-20 bucks to put your own photo in this image generating solutions. Yeah, so it's becoming more accessible. Yeah, absolutely. This is the research phase that we have passed already. These are the screenshots, and here we talk about multimodality. The text will be very quick to be put in a niche, like a text prompt.
And if it is a truly smart virtual assistant, comparable with us in terms of intelligence, so we upload the image, please interpret it for us. GPT-4 Vision is currently works only on iOS, and maybe we will have similar challenges. But it knows about the big theater, the Bolshoi theater, and my colleague said that this is an X-ray of a fraction of a crack in a bone. I don't see it personally. Apparently, it's somewhere there. Some kind of a crack in a bone, but you can additionally train the model, and it will show you if there are any associated issues with that fracture. Or in a restaurant, you can come up to someone's table and figure out what is the dish that they're eating. I often have this problem when I have to call the waiter and ask them what the neighbors at the neighboring table are eating, because usually what they are eating looks much more delicious than what I have on my plate. Right, and also you can upload an image from your fridge to figure out if you have enough ingredients. But then there are nuances. So the opportunities for application are amazing. And those are just the small routine tasks. Obviously, as we move forward, the opportunities will increase. It's hard to figure out where we will be in 5 or 10 years from now, but we can understand the vector, the trajectory. Already we see that there is a big skilled team. I'm going to act as an HR director. Unfortunately, we do not have anyone from HR today. So anyway, we have the so-called D people, people working with data, ML engineers and others. Not all of this, obviously, is about research. It can begin with research, and then these cases get added to it, cases that do not have the obvious monetization potential, but cases which, as we know several generations after, were the key feature in the product. And it requires a big team, 300 researchers, and this year the main contribution of our ecosystem in terms of publications in IRI was made. The figures are also astonishing, 1.5 times growth in publication activity. So there is potential, it is there. And I think you have warmed up, I hope. We have increased the suspense, because we are going to show you some products which are impossible without good research potential, which we have. Back to the beginning, why are we investing so much into it? So this is the publication activity, and in conclusion, this link once again to our program. If you forgot what to expect later today or tomorrow. And I wanted to conclude by wishing you the best of luck in your problem solving. I wish you good and clear data sets, data scientists that know what's what, and exceeded expectations in research and in product building. And if you are working on some narrowly specific area, I hope you will be inspired by what the generative AI is already capable of. Thank you very much. This applause is for you, Maxim. I've just now noticed that our hoodies are of the same color. It's probably bringing us closer together in how we look at generative AI and its future, which is mesmerizing. Since you're doing it all for the good of the people, we have this question from the audience. Which technology do you think will be trending next year? Well, this is a question that Sam Altman would be more equipped to answer, I think. It is difficult to assess it, to assume, because it's hard to understand which things will ignite. I know that you have your big team and a lot of innovations you're working on. Lots of people working on emerging tech. But are you able to predict what becomes the launchpad? One of the founders of DeepMind said it, and it's a good tip, I think. He said that generative AI is one step away from interactive AI, so the mechanics of user interaction, the depth of interaction, meaning the number of iterations within a session and the complexity of queries. It's not just about asking about something. What everyone started with when they only started with ChatGPT. Give me top 10 great data scientists, give me 10 recipes of this and that, give me a plan for a conference, things like that. But now people are using it increasingly for specific tasks, code completion or code generation or fine-tuning. So the depth of interactions is going to grow, and also multimodality. generating text, video, 3D models, and molecules at the same level as generating text on general domain things, I think this will become a very useful tool. So interaction, multimodality, and multi-agency. I had this slide in my deck, which I skipped very briefly. But it was dealing with the number of people, sea level -1 or sea level -2. How many people in the United States left their companies to go do their own startups? Everything related to the role algorithm, for example. So orchestrating it is a big task. The number of agents is going to grow. So I think that holds a lot of promise. Interesting. Let's hope that in 10 years from now, we will be living in a very bright future, $7 trillion. That gives me hope. Thank you very much, Maxim.